Hi, this is Tomasz Mikutel. I'm going to show you how I did my last painting, which is horse racing. Apologize for the quality. This is my only second video, so I'm trying to improve. This video is fast forward about 4 times, sometimes 2 times, and in the middle there is a part when you can watch me painting in real time. So I'm starting on my first horse. I've got some technical problems as you can see. I'm using mainly burnt sienna and yellow ochre. Now, first one from the left is burnt umber. The list of all colors should be. I will try to put it in front of my video. So as you can see, I'm trying to use the side of my brush as well to get different textures. I'm applying the first main color of the horse and then adding some side colors. I don't care too much about the values at the moment. I mean, it has to be light, right? We work from light to dark. I'm more concerned about the shape. So after adding the first color, while paper is still wet, I will add some darker values. Like so now. No, not yet. I forgot about the leg from the back. So I'm trying to make it as light as I could, just to increase the depth. I'm now adding some cobalt blue, I guess. Trying to break the structure of jockey's top, and then adding some darker values on still wet paper to let it blend. A little bit more of burnt umber with some leftovers from cobalt blue. It might look too dark, but when it dry off, it will be lighter, of course. So this is important. Left side, the sun is the light source is from the upper right side. So on the left hand side, there will be darker values on the legs. Obviously, where sunshine cannot reach. I'm trying to make the head pop out a little bit using shadow area. I don't usually do any complicated background, so I'm just trying to make the watercolors do what they do the best, which is just to blend. So the areas outside of my focal point will have some colors as well. Now I'm correcting some shapes, trying to soften the edge where I see that it was too sharp. As you can see, the main shape of the horse is is there, so that's good. Going to the second one. More loose approach, which isn't bad. There is still while paper is still wet, you can make some corrections, but it's very crucial to have some looseness in your brush strokes, because you can see it on the paper. Then if you are stressed or scared to make a brush stroke, it will not look good. You will not, if you are not convinced, you will never convince the viewer. So with horses, the most important bit when it comes to the head is, I guess, ear, nose, eyes, and ears. Then if you get it right in the good areas, then it will look like horse, not like donkey or a dog. The sketch was done in pencil. The whole the whole watercolor part took about 1 hour and 40 minutes. This is all. This video will only be for 40 minutes. As you can see, I made the first horse left hand side a little bit lighter because it was too dark, using just the wet brush and then a kitchen towel. Make sure when you do the legs not to make straight lines, because this will ruin the painting. Just break the line, use the side of the brush. Now the jockey. This red one is Windsor red, and yellow depends how I'm using lemon yellow and Windsor yellow. Combination of both of them, Windsor red and yellow, gave us a nice orange. Very, very important to mix colors on the paper as well, not only on the palette. I actually prefer to make it on the paper. Now using a darker value, just to make sure that I will keep the shape that I want, because when you put your first layer of watercolors, it's easy to lose your sketch underneath, pencil sketch. While sketching, remember to make it dynamic. The poses, try to make them dynamic, not still. Now adding some more details to the face. The video went a little bit too bright. I think contrast is too high, so some details might be lost, but I will try to put on the in the beginning and in the end of the video the good quality picture of my painting. Also, I will, if you look underneath the video, you will see a link to my website where you can see this image in a higher quality and some other paintings I did. Also, underneath the video on YouTube, I will put the materials I've used. Paper is a hot press Saunders and Waterford, 11 by 15 inches, hot press, white. Okay, now I'm slowing down. Our video is showing the real speed. This horse actually is not brown. This one is no, I can't say white, but it's really light gray one. That would be better. Right, so now I'm just applying the first layer. Just distributing water, trying to avoid making straight lines. Obviously this horse is a little bit in the back, so it will not be as sharp, as bright as the other horses in the front. Now as you can see that I'm breaking those lines were too neat. Trying to capture pose of the jockey. Now when I'm thinking this might be a little bit too dark, considering that this is not the first row. Now I'm adding some darker values. This is the part where you can still ruin your painting, so as you can see I'm careful and I'm checking my reference photo using side of the brush as well, but still in a controlled manner. Trying to show the shape of the head of the horse. Pushing the darker values from one place to another where it's more needed. Now this brush I'm using for fine details. And now I think the space is 200%. Trying to make the head pop up because it's closer to us. The left side of his head, as you can see, is in the shadow, so make it in more darker. Trying to indicate the muscles of the horse. And now connecting this horse with the jockey. I'm trying to show the shadow, that the cast shadow from the head. The rear leg, as you can see, there were just a couple touches, not too many. You can't indicate the whole leg because it will be pushed to the front and we don't want this. Preparing next color. When you paint many horses, it's good to concentrate first on not on the focal, on the main point, just to practice your hand. Try on the side of the painting, and then when you get confidence, when your moves are accurate, then you can go to the main subject. Trying to put some interest in the background, as you can see. Not too much. Don't want to distract the viewer from what's really important in this painting. Now next horse. Off we go. Fighting to present the right shape. The head of the horse should read really quickly. Eyes can help, and the mouth area as well. Don't be afraid to use your fingers or nails. Anything is good as long as you get the result you wanted to get. On this side of the horse is in the sunshine, so has to be bright, more yellowish. The other side in the shadow will be darker, of course. It's got this red hue. I guess this would be a burnt sienna. Last thing you want is all horses with the same color, so try to vary. And then when paper is still wet, apply dark colors. Let them bleed on the paper, because then you will get smooth transitions. Keep in mind that to show the action, don't make it boring. Some areas you need a sharp edge, in some soft, so this is quite important as well. Keep checking your reference photo. I think I might have gone too dark on this one, but we'll see. So now it started to read well. Yeah, that was missing. Now with this synthetic brush, I like to clear unnecessary paint. I'm trying to put as much as I can on my first layer. The second one should be just the details or some corrections if you think some areas needs reworking. Now adding colors here and then breaking the structure, don't make it the same. At the same time, I'm trying to use the color I have on my brush to add some details all over the place. Here I wanted to show the real shape of this jockey by adding some background color. Right, back to my last rider, adding some blue while yellow is still wet, so it will blend. trying to avoid the routine, so I'm trying to vary my brush strokes using the side of the brush, starting with the lighter color. As the sun shines on the upper right side, it's shining from this side, so the right side of the horse will be brighter. To avoid sharp edges, I'm painting while paper is still wet, correcting. Oh, I think the left eye is a little bit too big. Wonder if I will correct this later. Probably not. Why I had this dark color mudding shadow on the jockey and some face features, just the rough ones. And then working on the pose. Some more water. Okay, this eye was a little bit corrected. Preparing next color. Okay, to add some more shadows and show the muscles of the horse. I think there was a small pause when my when my camera was not recording, when I lift off some paint from this horse to correct this later. I'm trying to make the front leg to pop out by darkening the background, because this leg will catch some sunshine. So always remember where your light is, where the shadows should be. Avoiding straight lines again, which is very good rule of thumb. Trying to reshape some areas of the painting. And this is something you have to be really careful, because paper is dry over there, so you get sharp edges, so they have to be spot on. As you can see, then I'm back to the first jockey, trying to make the pose to stand out, because it's too much blending in with the background at the moment. Always remember where the shadow should be, where the sunshine hits your object as well. Think about perspective, scale as well. Couple brush strokes can make the painting look more dynamic. Here I'm trying to lift some paint. I think I made it too dark. Not every horse will come up great. Some of them will look better. I think this horse is actually the weakest part of my painting. I think I will try to correct this in a minute. Yeah. If this horse was in the front row, then I would probably pay more attention and do it slower, more accurate. But this is not the focal point. Focal point are horses in the front row. You can see I have a lot of problems with this horse. I left it for now, I think, to allow paper to dry. Now went back to add some more details. If I was going to do it again, I would probably make everything a little bit lighter, so then I wouldn't have to use so much of really dark colors. Not every line has to be done 100% accurate. Doesn't have to be visible all over the place. Just try to indicate, leave something for the viewer. Working with the shape of the head, and then back to some shadow area. Back to the main view. Later I'm going to add um, green for the ground, because at the moment they all look as they were flying, so we need to put them on the floor, and then when the legs touch the ground, you need to add some shadows, of course. And the mud that is splashing all over the place. You have to keep in mind that this is horse racing. Remember about the dynamics and action. Don't make it too boring. With time, you will get better. Even myself, I still spend a lot of time trying to make it look good. However, when I remember myself doing this for the first time, I was even slower, a lot of slower. So everything comes with time, with practice. And don't expect to see results straight away. This doesn't work this way. You have to be patient, to practice. Now, also try to mix dry paint with usually the first layer should be softer, and then on top of that, on top of this, you use dry brush strokes, as this will give you some depth and variation. And I've noticed that there was a little bit part missing of this jockey on the grey horse, so I just added this, and then I'm just looking all over the place to see where I can push it a little bit further. But as John Husbukvich says, one of my favorite artists, when you start to look what you can still make in your painting, when you force yourself to do it, it's time to finish, because you don't want to overdo it, which is very easy to do. Back to my unfortunate horse. I think I will eventually give up. Yeah, this looks way better than it was before. Yeah, this one, this jockey on the grey horse was done with more water because it's in the background. If you do it too sharp, then it will pop too much to the front, which is thing that you don't want to do. Now I probably noticed that there is not much I can do, so adding some finished details, splashed mud, and now I think I will come to the grass. Yes, as you can see, I'm not using a really bright green, because green is really difficult to combine with other colors. Some people prefer to do the background before they will start doing the rest. It's up to you how you prefer it. Both ways has got some advantages and disadvantages. Adding shadow, mm, remembering that the front should be darker because it's closer to the viewer, so